Hey family, happy Thursday. Y'all know what time it is. It is that time again. Oh, wait, let me go get my stuff. Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Hey y'all, how y'all doing tonight? So conspicuous Angela. Hey. All right, family. I hope y'all can hear me good. Everybody can hear me good. Just let me know you can hear me. Why is my hold on? I swear I put my phone on do not disturb. Okay, hey family. Okay, good. You guys can hear me. Great. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I hope everybody is doing good. Y'all ready for Christmas? Cause I know I'm not. But I know I have to be. I have two small children and two older children. So the two small children, they are so looking forward to Christmas. And the two older children, they're past 18, so they're just like whatever. But my two little ones, yeah, just another. That is totally how I feel about Christmas. I'm telling y'all, like, just another day. I swear to you, if I didn't have my two young ones, literally just another day for me. I'm so over it. I'm so over it. Trust me when I tell you, so over it. But it is what it is. I'm just grateful that I'm here to do what I gotta do. So, all right, family, but without any further ado, I wanted to come on here today to talk about tips, just give some tips on fitting your customers for alterations and just some of the stuff that I do when I fit my customers for specific alterations, specifically pants and like men's business shirts and like women's blouses. So just to kind of give you guys just a little, just some tips on what I do and what I look for when I'm doing like those specific type of alterations. What'd you say, Angela? I don't buy no one gift. I'm over. Me too. If I do buy a gift, it's for the kids. If I do, it's for the kids. Yeah. Me too. I'm totally over it. And I'm not even just saying that, y'all. Like, I really mean that. Like, I'm totally over it. But just some tips on what to look for when you're doing specific type of alterations on people. Hopefully, next time when I talk about this, I can have somebody here so that I can show examples. But I'll show you like some pieces of what I do on a specific alteration. But next time, or maybe I'll do another video or something, and I will actually physically show you guys exactly what I do for me, more importantly, when I am doing alterations. All right. Oh, I forgot. I'll never forget, but I just want to tell y'all, hey, on the replay, for those who are watching this later on the replay, just want to say hey. Okay. All right, guys. So let's get right into this. So for when I am doing alterations on a pair of pants, specifically menswear, when I'm doing it on men's pants, I always have the men try the pants on, obviously. And let me not even say obviously, because sometimes some people will come in and they'll say, I have these pants and I want you to make them a 32 inseam, and I'm like, okay. And I don't like to do that based off of them just telling me 32 inseam, because these manufacturers, when you get the pants and you actually take the tape measure and run that inseam in, it's very rarely is it the number that is on the tag. And so you trying to display that to your client and letting them know, all right, if I just take your word for it and I do these at a 32 inseam, and now you've paid me and you've left my store, now it's time for me to do the alteration, and I run the tape measure, and the pants on the tag, right? The tag on there may say, um, I don't know. Let's say the tag will say, well, it's a 34 inseam, okay? And then they say, well, I need it to be a 32, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let's say I take their word for it and I do it. They paid me. They have left my store, and now it's time for me to measure. I measure these pants. Guess what the pants are measuring? Guess what the pants are measuring? A 32. Okay? So that's tip number one. Please, whenever you are doing alterations, you cannot take the customer's word for it because you never know. Maybe they've gotten the pants altered before and they didn't remember. That has happened, and I'm telling you guys lessons on things that I've done because I have absolutely done that. A customer has come in and said to me, can you put these at 32? Sure. They've paid, left my store. Now it's time for me to do it. I go to measure, and guess what? The pants are 32. The hell? So what do I do now? I got to call the customer back. They have to come in. They have to try the pants on. Always, always, always have them try the pants on. That's what I do. If the customer, I can't, I'm in a rush, I don't want to try the pants on. All right, that's cool. That's on you. But if I do this alterations, I take no liability. I'm not taking any responsibility, and as long as they say cool, be good. We're done. So that's tip number one. Always have them try the pants on when you're dealing with alterations. Always, always, always. Secondly, when you're doing pants alterations, let's say they're doing a hem. Let's say you're hemming, they want their pants hemmed. Um, Always measure both legs when they're doing a hem. You always want to make sure because sometimes one hip may be a little bit higher than the other, which will then force one leg to be slightly higher than the other, which will give your which if you alter the pants evenly when they put the pants on, one is going to be shorter or higher than the other. So always measure leg, both pant legs when you're doing pant alterations, okay? And the way I do it, just to show you guys, if I'm doing a pair of pants alterations, I like to turn it under when I'm measuring on the customer. That's just for me. I like to turn it under because to me it gives them more of a realistic look than if you turn it the other way. Now you can go either way. You can go either way, especially sometimes if it's a lot. If it's a lot that I have to hem, then I will turn the pant leg this way when doing the alteration. But my go-to first is to always turn it under this way when I do an alteration, only because it gives them, like I said, more of a realistic look of when you're doing the hem so that they can see how it's going to fall on the shoe. If they want to break, if they don't want to break. And a break is how much fabric they have in the front. So like sometimes it'll bunch up like this, or a clean straight no break is like a straight leg, and that's typically where the hem is above the ankle or right at the level of the ankle, so the pant just falls straight down. You see no gapping in the front. All right, so you always want to remember to do both legs though. That's important. Do both legs. And the other thing too is what happens like in that first scenario that I told you guys where the rise may be different. The reason for where the hem length may be different. The reason for that a lot of time though is because of the rise. Right? The rise in the pant. So the rise in the pant, which is right here. Don't mind this. I have to look, I gotta fix these. That's an alteration that's gotta be fixed. So that's why I have that there. That safety pin there. But when you're dealing with the rise of the pant, it goes down all the way down into the seam. So if you're dealing with a rise that may be really long, it's going to affect the inseam of the pant, right? So when you have a client come in and they say, "But I always wear 32," how these and if these pants are measuring a 32 and they're still too long, well, that means the rise on these pants could be longer than the rise on another pair of pants, right? So I never go with the number that they're telling me, because you may always run into that issue. You're gonna always run into that problem. You're better safe than sorry. Always have them try it on. Always have them try it on. Telling you, that's rule number one for me. Ooh. When I'm dealing with a hem and doing stuff like that. So that's some tips with the hem when you're hemming a pair of pants. All right. The other thing too, when you're dealing with pants and they want to take it in at the waist, your go-to is at the back. On a pair of men's slacks like this, your go-to is at the back seam right here. This is the easiest port to take in when you're dealing with alterations on men's waist. Okay? You're going to get that from the person who's wearing the pant. So you have to ask them, how does it feel on your waist? Oh, it's a little too big. Boom. When you're ready to take it in, you want to say, okay, you're going to clamp it right here. Okay, I like to use, I have these little clamps here that I use when I deal with fitting alterations on men's waist. I use these little clamps right here, and you're gonna clamp it wherever, at what point they decide that it's too big, right? And so from there, you know that these pants are going to be taken in. This is measuring about 3/4 of an inch, right? So these pants are going to be taken in 1.5 inches total, okay? 3/4 of an inch on this side and 3/4 of an inch on the other side, which is 1.5 inches. But when you're fitting and that client has the pant on, you want to make sure that you're clamping it at the back seam and not on the sides. Okay, it's easier to do it on the sides. If you have a customer and they've tried on the pant, and let's say, at least this is what I like to do, what I do. Let's say that the pant that they've tried on is about, like, you have to take in this much. Okay? So it's too big and you have all of this to take in. These type of alterations, for me personally, I don't do them. I don't do them. Why? Because it's going to distort. When you've taken, this is about, let's measure. Let's say this is 3 inches. Okay? So this is 3 inches that needs to come in, which means that's a total of 6 inches that has to come out of these pants. I'm not doing that alteration. Why? I'm taking 6 inches out of these pants. Guess where the pockets are going to go? You see that? Look how close these pockets are going to get. Right? Look how close these pockets are going to get once you take those 6 inches in. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And so for me personally, that's another tip. When I'm dealing with alterations and pants, if it's going to be more than 2 inches, for me, which is like this way, so which is a total of 4 inches. If it's a more than a total of 4 inches that needs to be taken in on the men's pants, I personally would advise them not to do it. I say, just go buy you a new pair of pants. You're losing a lot of weight. You look great. Go buy you some new clothes. All right? Because I don't want to do this alterations when I have a pretty good idea of what the pants are gonna look like when they're done, right? And so then they're gonna come back to me talk about, oh no, these pockets look crazy. Why are the pockets so close together? What did you do to my pants? Why did you do? And I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that, y'all. I don't. And so again, a lot of the stuff that I'm telling you, I've done in the past, which is why I've learned not to do it. So there's certain alterations that I won't do when it's more than a certain amount. And so that's my tip to you in regards to when you're doing alterations on a pair of pants like that. You want to make sure that it's not going to be taken in too much where it's going to start to distort the way the pants look, meaning the pockets are not going to get way too close. Now, I do have a customer that it's a woman customer, and I have to alter her jeans. Her waist is like this small, and her hips are like this outside the camera, this big. Okay? And so she has to get all of her clothes altered in the waist because she buys the pants to fit her hips. And so everything has to come in at the waist. And sometimes when I do that, it forces the pockets to come in because I'm taking so much out of her waist. And I let her know, and she's okay with it. She says, look, I don't even care if the pockets have to come together. But she's a rare example. But in that case, I go ahead and I do the alteration because she already knows what to expect. You understand what I'm saying? She already knows that the pockets are going to be coming in like that. And she's okay with it. If you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. You pay the money, I do the job, and you're all right, we don't have a problem, you know? So you want to make sure that you communicate with your client. You communicate with them and you ask them and then you let them know, you know, is this okay, whatever have you, in order to make sure that you're doing the right job. And that's when it comes to pants alterations, you definitely want to make sure of that. Secondly, and let me know in the comments or in the DM or whatever, like the stuff that I'm telling you in regards to the alterations. If you want to actually see me doing the actual job, let me know. You know, if you want to actually see me doing the job, so I can do a live on that or a video on that or something like that. If that's something that you want to see, okay. And then the last tip that I want to give you guys on alterations with pants when they want the pant tapered. Okay. As you can see right here on these pair of pants, to me, the most important part when you're dealing with pants and tapering them is the seam, especially dress slacks, is this middle seam, right? This middle seam to me is an important guideline, okay? So when I'm tapering a pair of pants and I do the taper, let's say they want the pants to be tapered in a total of, yes, I'm visual. I would like to see a demonstration. Awesome. I will definitely do a live on that. Um, Now, do you want to see a demonstration on the pant, or is there something else in particular? But when you do the alterations on these, the crease for me is the most important part of the pant when you're dealing with dress slacks, right? So let's say, for example, this guy, he wants to take and taper the pants in about an inch or two, which would be a total of 2 inches on the pants. Okay, awesome. I will do that. I will absolutely do that. On these pants, right? Let's say he wants to taper the pants. And when you taper in the pants, that means that you making them slimmer, narrowing them down. And a lot of dudes these days, that's what they're wearing. They're wearing their stuff slim, right? Skinny almost. Even dress slacks, they are wearing them like slim. Because that's what I do all day. I seen them, at least down here in South Florida. So when you taper the pants, so let's say this one for instance, okay? We have these pants and this guy wants to taper it in an inch, which is a total of 2 inches. All right, so 1 inch on the front and 1 inch on the back. So let's say he wants these pants tapered in, right? So we taper these pants in like this. But look what it does. You see the unevenness now? The pants are uneven in the seam. One side is longer or smaller than the other. You don't want to do that. When it comes to tapering your pants, you don't want to do that. You want to take that number. So we got to taper 1 inch on this, which is a total of 2. You want to take the number 2 and divide that by 4. Why? Because you have the front side here, that's 1. The back side, that's 2. That's 3. And the back side, that's 4. You always want it to be uniform. Your goal is to make the alterations look as if they were never done. Your goal is to make the alterations look as if they were never done. Okay? And so you want to take that number 2 and you divide it by 4. When you divide it by 4, that means that's a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch. So you're going to taper down these pants, for instance. Okay? These pants, for instance, you're going to taper them down a 1/2 inch. So it's a 1/2 inch here, a 1/2 inch here. That's a total of 1 inch on one side of the leg, one leg. And then the other leg is a 1/2 inch air and a 1/2 inch air, which is 2 inches total. 1 inch on both sides. Okay, that's the goal. The goal is you always want it to be uniform. And I use the front crease in men's slack as my guide when I'm dealing with fitting. That's my guide, that front crease. If I'm dealing with a pair of slacks. All right, you always want to make sure of that because, like I said, it's got to be uniform. It's got to be uniform. All right. So that's good. Awesome. So I'm definitely going to do, and I'm going to do a video now that I know somebody wants to see that. So conspicuous. I am going to do a video, a live, and altering a pair of pants. Hopefully I can set that up for sometime in January. We'll do a video and I'll show you exactly what I do and how I do when I alter the pants. Okay, now that I know somebody wants to see it. The other tip that I wanted to give you guys is when you're dealing with, let's use my shirt for example. When you're dealing with a woman's blouse, okay? The things that I look for when I'm dealing with a woman's blouse is her shoulders. How is the blouse or the shirt, whatever, sitting on her shoulder, depending on the style of the blouse? Is it like this, right? Where it's falling this way? Is it like this, where it's too far back? Is it too big here on the side? It's really important to watch your garment on, you're welcome, my pleasure. It's really important to watch your garment while it is on your client. Watch your garment. So in other words, read your garment while it's on the client and watch how it sits on their body. The way it sits on their body will tell you everything. So, for example, if the blouse is sitting like this, immediately you know you got to go to them shoulders. You got to go to them shoulders and you clamp the shoulders up, okay, with safety pins, and you see how it sits on the body. The person will tell you, yes, that feels so much better. Bet. You safety pin them up, you know, and you can see it. Sometimes the shirt will have wrinkles. The wrinkles will always talk to you. So you want to straighten those out, and just seeing how it sits on the body will tell you everything, right? So my next tip to you guys, watch and read the garment as it is on either your body or your client's body if you're into and doing alterations. Very, very, very important because it will tell you everything, right? So like this, for example, now this is a t-shirt, so I mean, for me, I ain't doing nothing with this, But let's say I had on a blouse and it was doing this. It was giving these lines right here, right? Instantly, that would tell me I either may need a dart put in, put a dart in there, or I may need to pull it out a little bit from underneath the arm. But what you do is you want to pin it out and you want to see which way it lays better. So if you put a dart in there and you see that it lays better with the dart, that's what you're going to go for. But sometimes you may have to bring it in. What I like to do though is I do both, right? So I'll pin my client this way and I'll see, okay, and is it still giving me the lines? And if it's still giving me the lines, I know we need a bust dart, right? Very simple. You just got to learn how to read the clothes as it sits on the client, and it will tell you everything. Believe you me, it will tell you everything. All right. Um, and the only other thing I did want to talk to you guys tonight, I don't want to hold you up too long, was a men's shirt. Now I just had this today. Okay. One of my clients, he had a men's business shirt on. And he wanted to do alterations on the men's business shirt. He wanted the shirt to be more fitted. So I said, okay. So what I did, he had the shirt on, and immediately when they tell me they want it to be more fitted, I I hold the shirt like this, I turn it in, and I have them look at themselves in the mirror. And I said, is this the look that you want? Yes, I want it to look like that. I want it slim just like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll go and I'll pin them in, because usually on men's business shirts, that's going to be the go-to alteration. Most of the time, it's they want the more tapered look to the slim fit to their body. So I go right here, I pin it in like this. They say, yes, that's what I want. I get my pins and I start pinning them up on the side. Well, this particular guy, I did that, and he also said he wanted, because it's a long sleeve men's business shirt, he wanted the sleeves to also be taken in. So I said, okay. So we go underneath the arm seam, because that's typically the only seam in a men's business shirt, right? So I go and I pin underneath the arms, and I see he wanted it all the way. So he wanted from this point all the way down, and then all the way down here, right? So I pinned him. We did all of that. And I'm looking at this guy as he has the shirt on, and he's like, yeah, that's good. That's great. I like it. This is perfect. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, nah, this is not perfect. There's something still not right. So even though I had it pinned, he liked the way it looked. He was good with it. Guess what? When I came around and I looked at the back of the shirt, it was still black, like it was still hanging out like this in the back, right? And so I'm like, I know the look that he wants. Always listen. I know the look that he wants. He said he wanted it slim fitted more to his body. When I did like this, he said, yes, that's what I want. I pinned him up. Everything was cool. But I knew it wasn't exactly what he was telling me that he wanted. So when I learned around and looked at the back of the shirt, it still had a blousiness like this. Right? So that immediately told me this shirt also needs darts. The shirt also needed darts. And so when I went in the back and I pinned him up like that, pinned him up and put the darts in, it took out that blousiness, and now the shirt laid flat against his back. That was the look I knew he wanted. So when I did that and I had him turn to the side and look at himself in the mirror, he's like, oh, yes, that's what I wanted. Because guess what? Had I just did that alteration like this and pinned him down, boom, 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 did the alteration, and he came back and tried the shirt on, guess what? He gonna tell me, no, it's still a little, too big. I don't want that. My goal, y'all, is to have them come in one time and one time only. Come in, I fit you, everything's good, you leave, right? One time. That's my goal. One and done. Now, it has happened that I've had to redo some alterations. Yes, it has. I know. Don't be shocked. I know. I'm just kidding, y'all. But yeah, no, I have had to do, redo some alterations. I'm human. It happens, right? But my goal, though, all kidding aside, my goal is to get them in one and done, and we're good. You know what I mean? And so, but the point is that when I did that, though, he was all good. He was even more happy, and I hadn't even done the alteration yet. We just at the pinning stage. So I said, you know what? Perfect. So you always want to make sure that you do a 360 circle. Make sure that the garment looks the way your client is telling them, the look that they want, just by your pinning. Just by you pinning. Even when you're doing it on yourself, it's kind of difficult though to pin yourself. So if you can get someone to help you, that's always best. But make sure that you get that look, because I would have done that and he would have been back and I would have had to do it all over again. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like to work twice on the same garment. I really don't. Once I'm done with it, I'm done with it, and that's it. That's it. So those are a few tips that I wanted to share with you guys in regards to alterations when you're dealing with pants and when you're dealing with like a woman's blouse and a men's shirt. Trust me, guys, there's so much more out there, and I can't wait to put it out there for you guys to see. I really hope that this information that I share with you today was helpful. Please let me know if it was helpful, like, because I really enjoy doing this. But I'm gonna do another, like I said, so in January, I'm gonna do a live with me actually doing the alterations, especially on a pair of pants, as So Conspicuous asked, and so that you can see visually what I'm talking about in reference to. And maybe I'll do we could do a series of when I do alterations on the pants. We'll start with the hem. We can do the waist. We can do the taper, and this way you can actually see exactly what I'm doing when it comes to the alteration. We'll do before and after, and we see how it fits. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be all good. Trust me. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, good, great. I'm so glad this is helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, all right, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll wait a few minutes to see if I get any questions. If I don't get any questions, I just want to wish you all a happy holiday. Wish you all a happy new year, even though I will see you before the new year because we will be live next Thursday. Oh, that's what we're gonna talk. What are we talking about next week, Thursday? Next Thursday, our topic is going to be where is it? Next Thursday, we're going to be talking about how to maintain a successful alteration business. That's the topic for next week. How to maintain a successful alteration business. All right. And then going into January, our lives are going to be more lives of me actually doing some work. I'm going to do a series. We'll do a series of alterations on pants starting in January. So that is going to be fun because then you will see me doing the actual job itself, and I'll let you see what the person looks like before the alteration is done, and then I will let you see how, once I've done the alteration, what it looks like with them after the fact. And that's gonna be, and we'll do it in steps. So we'll just deal one week we'll deal with just hems, the next week will be the waist, the next week will be the taper, so on and so forth, until we get through what the alterations are on just a pair of pants, regular slacks that you can do for yourself, for your partner, for whoever, you know what I'm saying, for whoever. And we'll do it that way so that it's not so much coming to you at once, and we'll just break it down, and I'll show you how I actually do it now that I know that you want to see it. All right, so yeah, thank you. Happy holidays to you too, Anita. Thank you so much, you guys. And yes, I wish you all a happy holiday. And I will see you all. Oh, hey, Lisa, Black Women Stitch. I'm about to head off, but you guys can watch it on the replay. I will see you all next week, Thursday, same time, same place. And enjoy the rest of your evening. All right. Deuces.